I don't think the Brisbane Olympics are the reason property prices will rise. I think they're the excuse, the narrative. What's really driving the next phase of growth is what's already happening. Infrastructure, labour shortages, undersupply and fast-track legislation. The Olympics just put it all under a spotlight. And if you know what to look for, where the capital is moving and where the policies are loosening, the opportunity becomes very, very clear. If we haven't met before, my name is Stephen Glynn. I'm a multi-millionaire property investor and owner of The Edge Property Buyers, a buyer's agency that specializes in investment purchases. Now let me show you what I mean. There is a myth out there in the market that Olympic events themselves are what drive property prices. They don't. Hosting swimming or cycling doesn't magically double house values. But what the Olympics does bring is pressure, deadlines, funding, political will, and those things combine to do something rare in government. They force action. They get cranes in the air, planners aligned, and billions committed to large-scale projects that otherwise take decades to roll out. So here's the big picture. Right now, Brisbane is experiencing record low unemployment, internal migration rates that lead the nation, and an expected population jump from 2.5 million to 3.2 million people in just 10 years. At the same time, vacancy rates are below 1%. Rental listings are at record lows, and property listings for sale have dropped nearly 50% since 2019, despite the population surging. That's all before we even mention the Olympics. Now layer in an estimated $7 billion infrastructure package between venue builds, rail extensions, and accelerated housing projects. Between 30 and 40,000 additional construction jobs per year, all the way through to 2032. A special legislative package that fast-tracks approvals and overrides planning delays. A housing supply crisis that's already well behind demand, with approvals and completions still well below decade averages. That's the real setup. The Olympics just compresses the timeline and amplifies attention. When you zoom out, Brisbane is on the same trajectory as Sydney in 2000 and London in 2012, both of which saw property prices rise sharply before the Games and more sustainably after, thanks to lasting infrastructure and renewed urban precincts. It's about velocity. How a city already in a strong position gets pushed forward harder and faster than it would on its own. So what exactly is Brisbane building and where is it? The 2032 Olympic infrastructure plan has gone through several resets, with the latest version revealing 8 confirmed anchor projects. First, the Victoria Park Olympic Stadium, a brand new 63,000 seat multi-purpose stadium set to host the athletics and the opening and closing ceremonies. But post-games, it will become a major multi-use venue. Think AFL, cricket, concerts, that sort of thing. Second, the National Aquatic Centre in Spring Hill. An upgraded centenary pool will transform into a 25,000 seat elite swimming facility. Like the stadium, this is walkable to multiple hospitals, transport nodes and inner city growth corridors. Third, the Gabba precinct. Instead of a full rebuild, the Gabba will receive accessibility upgrades to remain functional during the Games. But the real play comes after. The site will be converted into a mixed-use urban precinct, creating a major new residential and entertainment zone adjacent to the Cross River Rail. Then we have the Brisbane Live Arena at Wollongabba and Roma Street. The revived Brisbane Live project, a privately funded 18,000 seat indoor arena, is moving to the GoPrint site, tightening the investment funnel through Wollongabba and Dutton Park. Crucially, it sits directly above the Cross River Rail station, making it a key transport plus lifestyle node. The fifth anchor project on the list is the RNA Showgrounds Athletes Village in Bowen Hills. The Athletes Village will be located in Bowen Hills with high-rise residential towers that will be converted into permanent housing post-Games. The main showground arena is being upgraded to seat 20,000 spectators year-round. Then we have upgrades to Queensland Tennis Centre in Tennyson. New show courts and upgrades lock Brisbane in as a long-term tennis hub. Another reason why Tennyson and its surrounding riverfront corridors are back on the radar. Next on the list is the Chandler Para Sport Precinct. This upgrade to the Sleeman Centre will create a dedicated para-athlete training and community sports hub, ensuring legacy use beyond the elite level. And finally, there are new sports complexes being built in Lower Moreton Bay at the Mill and in Logan, which will host sports like basketball and netball. If you consider all of this in addition to all of the transport upgrades like the Cross River Rail, Brisbane Metro and fast-tracked road upgrades, you're increasing connectivity and subsequently desirability. And when that happens in an undersupplied market, that's where long-term capital growth accelerates. Now that we've set the macroeconomic and infrastructure foundation, the next section zooms into the housing market itself. Why demand is intensifying, why supply can't keep up, and how that creates pressure points and opportunities in specific locations. So now let's talk about what's not been built and why that is just as important. While the Olympics pipeline is pumping billions into venues, precinct and road upgrades, what's missing is a proportionate response in housing supply. Brisbane is already in the grip of rental vacancy rates below 1%, listings for sale down nearly 50% since 2019 despite high levels of population growth. Asking rents are rising 0.7% per month, faster than both wages and inflation. Approvals and completions are below decade averages. In plain terms, even without the Olympics, we already don't have enough homes for the people here now, let alone the 700,000 plus new residents expected by 2035. The Olympics may grab headlines, but population growth and infrastructure backlogs are the real engines. And when you combine those forces with a building industry still strained by labour shortages, cost inflation and planning red tape, the result is simple. Demand is growing and supply isn't. Now let's be clear, not everyone's thrilled about this boom. There are genuine concerns and you've probably heard them. Loss of green space at Victoria Park, planning laws being overridden by fast-track legislation, cost overruns with major venues, white elephant fears that some of these new precincts will sit empty post-games. And they're not wrong to ask these questions. But here's what investors need to understand. Most of these venues in the cycle have dual-use purposes baked into their design. So yes, there are risks, but in the face of record low supply, nation-leading migration, and billions in long-term infrastructure spend, the odds of this capital being wasted are very low. So here's the key takeaway. This Olympic boom is about locking in long-term upside in the right locations, while infrastructure is still being built, and while most investors are still waiting to see how it plays out. So let me just repeat that phrase, in the right location. Because there are over 400 suburbs in Greater Brisbane, and we have purchased the vast majority of our properties for investors over the last decade in just 5% of those 400 suburbs. And every year those suburbs change as value moves around the city. Suburb selection is key. So if you're someone looking for growth corridors with real infrastructure behind them, wanting to buy before prices move further, or just want help filtering signals from noise in this market, then this is the exact type of moment where smart investing decisions are getting made. Here at The Edge Property Buyers, this is where we thrive, helping investors like you spot suburb level opportunities before their front page news. So if you're ready to buy in Brisbane now, then I have left a link in the description box below to book in a free discovery call so we can map out a strategy that works for you. Cheers.